In the Kama Sutra it says, talk to his totas and mainas for 2 hours. You always wonder, like, why would you have to talk to your tota maina? Personally, I think it was to teach men how to communicate. Honestly, must be that. There are days where I would like to be really, really like, Arr!
Today's line of questioning is going to come from the perspective of a 33-year-old single millennial living in Delhi, rated as the worst city in the country to date.
Really?
It was.
If you go on a dating app, quickly, this is a quick hookup.
Do you think it has become a millennial problem to find love? That P word, which is highly debatable, polyamory.
Most of us are happier with monogamy. If you're doing it without telling the other person, that's cheating. And if you're just talking about going from one bed to the other, that's not polyamory, that's just hooking up. You wouldn't believe how many men, as straight men, going to other men for pleasure. Your parents are taking on the right to think that they can tell you who to have sex with for the rest of your life.
Dostana, Kantaben jingle became means of bullying lot of surreal standards of love that were portrayed to us in movies. And even men being able to express love in a particular way.
And talk.
When people go seeking love in real life,
that's not how the man matches up. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
I know people who are taking therapy on here, seeking relationships on here. There are people who are pretending that the chatbot is their boyfriend.
You forget how to be a partner. You forget how to be a human being with other human beings. Skin treatments, husband, typically. Men don't do that. Why do I want to be with somebody who looks like a lizard, their skin flaking off? Everybody should date the typical stereotype that they think that they like in order to know that that's not what they like. Wow. I have to also just say that things will get better. It will get better. People will get past this. I cannot give you a timeline, but it will get better.
I really use a timeline right now as to when is it going to get better. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's a wonderful morning in Delhi, and it's a wonderful morning for me to actually speak to you. Let me just give you a heads up that today's line of questioning is going to come from the perspective of a 33-year-old single millennial living in Delhi.
Okay.
Which recently in a survey was rated as the worst city in the country to date.
Really?
It was. And I'll tell you the reasons that the survey had cited. One is high intensity hookup culture.
Yeah.
One is safety concerns.
Yeah.
And the third one was superficiality.
I can resonate with all of them and I understand each one of them without you having to explain it.
Exactly. Is hookup culture becoming an urban problem?
So I watched an interview some time back with an American guy who said that he recently came to India and he said that the dating scene over here scared the hell out of him. Because he said that the way that it is being viewed at the moment by young people is that if you go on a dating app, it's not for relationships. It's not for anything about, looking for a connection. These are people literally going on there to say quickly, this is a quick hookup. This is just a quick one-on-one, get the hell out of there.
Absolutely.
They're literally going on to that. And he said, when this first started, let's say 10, 15 years ago in the States, this was possibly how people were thinking about it then, because it had just been presented to you on a plate, the ability to meet other people just like that, without having to get to a party, get to an office, get to a sports field, whatever. It had just been given to you that kahin par bhi you can meet anybody. Yeah. And of course, it was being used terribly. I have to also just say that things will get better. It will get better. People will get past this. I cannot give you a timeline, but it will get better.
I think as a 33-year-old single millennial, I really use timeline right now as to when is it going to get better. This reminds me of a meme that was, recently viral after Zohran Mamdani won the New York mayoral race. This cannot be the same hinge that Zohran Mamdani's wife found Zohran Mamdani on.
So I will tell you also, my son and his wife met on a dating app.
Okay.
My youngest one, my daughter and her boyfriend, they found each other on a dating app. 4 of my nieces who just got married met their partners on dating apps. There is hope. It is there. We just need to get to that point. We have unfortunately not arrived there yet.
Do you think it has become a millennial problem to find love? Because that is how most millennials are beginning to perceive it.
So the way I see it, I have 3 kids and various other younger people around me. In my time, now I'm 63. So in my time, you met somebody, whether you got married because you had found somebody, met somebody in college, or whether your parents found somebody for you. The concept going forward was very straightforward. This is for marriage.
Okay.
Nobody taught you how to go through that relationship. Nobody taught you how to be that partner that would then flourish and grow.
Yeah.
You were thrown in with whatever ambient narrative there was and just expected to go make a success of it. It was expected of you. Happy, unhappy, what the world had to see was that you went along with it.
There was a set sequence.
There was a set sequence. You get a lot of people saying, oh, our mothers are the last generation of innocent mothers. I'm older than most of their mothers. I can tell you that that is not the case. I don't know what they mean by innocent mothers, but I'm assuming they mean that women who sort of said,
Give in.
yeah, I'm here to make you happy. It was a certain thing that you were supposed to look at. Then you had women like me who stood up and fought the battle and said, I don't like it. Then you became the devil, and so on. Younger people today are realizing that they are responsible for their own lives. They are now trying to find the vocabulary and find that system in how to go forward. I'm so glad that younger people are no longer saying, हाँ ठीक है, जो भी तुम कह रहे हो हम कर लेंगे, हम ऐसे. They want to be able to live their lives. Everything from jobs, whether if you get a really high-paying, fabulous job, but it's making you unhappy, you make a point of saying, this is making me unhappy, I don't want to do it. For instance, people like my husband is a Delhi Punjabi who's now 73 years old.
Oh, wow.
He has a certain thinking process. He can't understand what happiness has to do with it. He'll constantly say to me, I went through all this. My boss, when I was still a younger person, would say this to me. I took it. And I don't have the heart to say to him, but darling, you brought that home to us then. You know, like at that point, you were not happy. A younger person today is able to say, this doesn't suit me. I'm quitting. I'm going to go and look for something that makes me happier. I think that people are ready to say that, okay, this is how I see the world. I want something better.
Yeah.
I don't want how my parents were with each other. I don't want how my father treated my mother or how my mother reacted to certain things. I don't want that for myself.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I don't think it's a bad thing. Hence, there is a longing because we're all looking for something. Eventually, we find it. Whether it's, we find it. We don't necessarily find what we think we're going to.
Exactly.
We won't find what we think we're going to find. We find that path of longing that we're talking about. Like, where does it lead to? And from there, we make our decisions.
You know, talking about what we think we want to find.
Yeah.
There is this constant discussion that happens among my friends and people in the newsroom, etc. That we have grown up with a lot of surreal standards of love that were portrayed to us in movies.
Yeah.
And the culprits that are blamed for this are Shah Rukh Khan, Yash Raj Productions, and Dharma Productions.
Yeah.
That we have seen such surreal standards of love, and even men being able to express love in a particular way.
And talk.
When people go seeking love in real life,
that's not how the man matches up. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You know, in the Kama Sutra, it says in section 1 that I know that's the section that tells men how they need to live. So how to build your house, how many bedrooms you should have, how to decorate your bedroom, how many perfumes you should have behind your bed. And then it says how long you should bathe. And then he had to talk to his totas and minas for 2 hours. And you always wonder, like, why would you have to talk to your tota maina cage for 2 hours. Personally, I think it was to teach men how to communicate. Honestly, must be that. I think that in all books, whether it was Mills and Boon, whether it was the rom-coms of the 60s and the 70s, films have always portrayed that ideal man who has the ability to express himself in a way that you want to hear words. That doesn't happen in real life, and I'll tell you why it doesn't happen in real life. We've idealized this idea of the strong silent type, and that is seriously romanticized to the point of destruction. And I think that's far worse. Because I was watching an ad, an Indian ad, where this woman is talking to her husband, young couple. And he's this very sort of strong, silent type. You know, he's got this very forbidding look on his face. And she's literally like, wo na aaj mummy ka birthday hai. मैं सोच रही थी, हाँ, नहीं वो ना मैं बर्थडे प्रेजेंट वो गोल्ड का and then at the end of it, I mean, it's horrible. I'm watching that ad and I'm feeling really uncomfortable because I would hate somebody talking to me like this. And at the end of it, he says, gold ka, kyun? Diamond ka lo na. It'll be nicer. क्योंकि उन्होंने मुझे अपनी हीरे जैसी बेटी दी, तो मैं उनको हीरे का हार नहीं दे सकता क्या? And she says, oh, thank you. And they hug. And I thought, all the shit he put her through, I don't want that.
Yeah.
Don't romanticize that strong, silent type who then gives in and says, Hire ka haar le lo. That's not the shit that a relationship needs. So much fear to approach somebody. Somebody wrote to me saying, the kind of women I find attractive are women who are taller than me, but there's no way that my mother will allow me, my parents will allow me to be with a woman, to marry a woman who's taller than me. Now that's what turns him on. That's what excites him. He's not allowed to do that because society will say, pagal hai, wo tujhse lambi, and then troll him for that. This guy will end up marrying somebody who is judiciously shorter than him, who's been picked by his parents, expected to have passionate sex with her for the rest of his life, will never feel the passion or the arousal in the same way. But what is wrong with somebody who says, I want somebody taller than me, that's what turns me on? Why is that a bad thing? Why is it so unacceptable?
Absolutely.
So the standards, the stereotypes, the expectations, call it whatever you want. I just think that we've messed up everybody's life.
Since we are talking about the heteronormative ideas of relationships that have been so normalized and ingrained and indoctrinated into the society currently, I see the current generation, basically the Gen Zs, very unapologetically deconstructing several of those ideas. One of the forms of deconstructing that is that P word, which is highly debatable, polyamory.
Yeah. There are lots of P words that are debatable, but
Exactly.
I was waiting for
It's polyamory. You know, whenever people talk about polyamory, they say that we are emotionally monogamous. We are not necessarily sexually monogamous. What is your take on that?
So I personally think that people will come up with almost any kind of excuse for their own benefit, for anything. They don't want it in somebody else. They don't want the same thing, the same behaviors in their partners, but they're very happy for it for themselves. I find that most of us actually are happier with monogamy. It's what we want in our lives because it's what gives us security. If you are with a partner who you know is monogamously attached to you, you feel safer. You feel a little bit more stable in your relationship. You feel like there is a security factor. You feel that you don't have to look over your shoulder at all times. Now, I think that we've been told over and over again that monogamy is not natural. We were never meant to be monogamous. How I see it is that through your life, you are going to be attracted to other people.
Yep.
Always. Monogamy is a social rule that we've created, fair enough, but this is the society that we are staying in, and hence, I think that there are lots of rules that we follow. In a heterosexual relationship, monogamy comes as part of the deal. ये ऐसे करना है. Heterosexual relationships, they're like, no, but this is too much hard work. Yeah, it is equally hard work. You have to work at making it better. Polyamory, it's very new. There's very little understanding around it. People are like, I have got excitement looking at that person. That means I will go off and have sex with that person. That's polyamory, and that isn't. So polyamory is where you are in a committed relationship, if you are in a committed relationship, and one of you decides that you want to open up that relationship.
Yep.
It has to come from both of you. If you're doing it without telling the other person, that's cheating. Okay?
Absolutely.
So you have to understand how to do it, and then you have to lay down the rules. There are rules around relationships. So is it going to be one partner who will be polyamorous, or both? Is this going to be somebody who says, I will date randomly other people with permission, or I will have 2 other partners or 3 other partners who are my fixed other partners in life?
Yep.
When you do that, how do you define your time? If you are my main partner, how much time do I spend with you? How much time do I spend with the others? Do you, as my main partner, get to meet the others, or do you not get to meet the others? Is there a relationship between all of you? How do you divide the money? Because if you are in a relationship with other people as well, or even if you're dating and going out, that money is coming out of your budget.
Yep.
STIs. How often are you getting tested and how regularly? What are your things in place for in case you find that you have fallen in love with somebody else more than with this partner? There is a lot to think about.
Absolutely.
So to me, I think we need to first understand what polyamory is. And it's not just a case of just sleeping with everybody that you find. I recently met a couple, Indian couple, in the Netherlands, who have decided to open up their marriage. And they actually said to me, they said that when they finally decided to do this, they listened to podcasts to understand what all needs to be done. There is a podcast available now for everything. They went on retreats where people taught that this is what happens in polyamory. This is what you might experience, this is what maybe you won't experience. Okay. They understood that if she, like in this case, it was that she wanted another woman in her life as well. Now she wants to open it up to other men.
Okay.
And he said, it's only when she does that will I figure out how I feel, whether the jealousy suddenly crops up, because it didn't with other women.
Yeah.
He has other people that he dates, but it's not a single relationship. It's different people. It's a real learning for yourself. You cannot, I mean, if you're just talking about going from one bed to the other, that's not polyamory, that's just hooking up.
That brings me to a question I really want to ask about polyamory.
Okay.
Because I have seen multiple couples who have opened up their relationships. But out of the 2 people, only one person is polyamorous. The other person has chosen to stay monogamous. Do you think the emotional toll in a setting like that is more on the person who chooses to stay monogamous, usually?
Usually, yes, because they're left asking a lot of questions that there are no answers to.
Yep.
And that is because we start a lot of these relationships by not making this very firmly clear that if I feel even this much jijak, if I feel even this much distress, I should be able to come and talk to you about it. And what is your role when I feel insecure and when I feel unsafe?
Yep.
As the polyamorous partner, your first role should be to say, okay, today I am with you all the way. I am answering your questions. I am helping you through. And I think people forget that jealousy is a very human emotion. You cannot just box it up. You can't. You have to learn to deal with it. You have to get past it. I mean, my daughter was saying to me recently, just to give you an example. So she and her boyfriend both live in Amsterdam. And touch wood, they have this wonderful understanding relationship. And he bought a flat in Amsterdam. And she went into panic because she was like, this was never the long-term plan that I would live the rest of my life in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what do I do? And I said, well, first of all, it is just a financial decision. It's great to buy real estate, so it's not a problem. But have you spoken to him about it? And she said, yes, I've been actually doing this. And whenever I do that, he actually hugs me and cuddles me and says, I'm here for you. Tell me what you need from me. So the two of them have worked out how to talk about it together,
Okay.
which I think is incredible. One of the great things about the younger generation, they've learned how to talk to each other about it. Most people do actually jump into accusations. You knew I was going to live over here. You knew I wanted to be over here. Why would it be a problem that I bought a flat? Don't you want to be with me anymore? But you didn't tell me you were buying the flat. I don't know if I want to live with you. It could be that.
Yep.
Or it could be, hug me. I need that hug because I'm so frightened. I don't know if this is what I want for the rest of my life.
There's an entire section dedicated to navigating queerness. The first chapter had me. There is this man talking about his partner being forced into marriage by his family. That actually took me back to a conversation which I had just a month ago with a friend of mine who's a lawyer. She had a case coming to her in which this woman who was seeking divorce said, I can assure you he's gay and I've been cheated into getting married to him.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to somebody who is struggling to come out to their parents and at the same time is being forced to marry?
I think, first of all, honestly, a lot of people who are gay will also not admit to themselves that they're gay because they have been brought up to believe, this narrative that we have over here of it's a bad thing, it's a dirty thing. The fear and hatred that they feel for themselves is worse than anything else that anybody else could feel for them, which is really, really distressing. The other thing, of course, is the parents around you saying, yeah, this is the one thing I won't tolerate. I was doing a talk for a seriously wealthy, progressive group of people. And this guy said to me, he said, I have told my children, I've told my sons, you can come to me with anything. I will help you through anything, except you cannot be homosexual. And I was like, can you hear yourself? Can you hear yourself?
You've already told them you can't come to them with anything, with everything.
Yeah, you've said that, like this huge thing that you might end up feeling, sorry, you can't do it. So, unfortunately, there is still a lot of bias against homosexuality. A lot of people will determinedly not admit it because it's so much easier to not do it. Now, as the man of the house, as the young man in the house who's getting married, you're living in your own home with your own parents. You are safe enough to know that I will marry this girl, she will come into my house, I will not have sex with her, nobody can touch me.
Yeah.
I'm fine. Nobody can do anything to me. In terms of how do you even approach this, I think that there is no way that you can explain to a man or to a woman how to tell her parents or his parents about their gayness unless they are ready to do it. Because that fear of what will they say, and a lot of parents do react very badly. Okay?
Absolutely.
So you cannot help them to say, by telling them that you have to get over your fear so that, we will deal with this legally, because eventually everybody knows you have to go back to your own home, your own family, and the shit that you're going to face. I think what is worse is the fact that they will agree to the marriage in spite of knowing that this is not what they want.
Yep.
That to me is a bigger worry. Your parents are taking on the right to think that they can tell you who to have sex with for the rest of your life. I mean, that's the worst thing ever. However, you at the age of 30 plus, you're a grown-ass man.
Yep.
Stand your ground. If you don't want to tell them you're gay, say you don't want to get married. Say you don't like this woman. Find a reason. Find a reason to not get married. For a lot of them, their whole thing is, I just want to get my parents off my back, and so I will do this. And I just think that problem lies in not the fact that you're not able to come out of the closet. There are people who can't come out of the closet. It's the fact that we say, Acha, you don't think you like women? Don't worry. Once we get you married, it'll get sorted out. Oh, your relationship is falling apart. Have a child, it'll all get sorted out.
Yeah.
Shadi is not just between two people, it's two families coming together.
दो परिवारों का मिलन होता है. The family that eats together, sleeps together, stays together.
Exactly. So I'm sorry, do parivar will come together and find their own way of being together. These are the two people who are going to live their lives together.
Yep.
You wouldn't believe that. How many men have actually now spoken to me about, as straight men, going to other men for pleasure. And I just interviewed two young sex workers, male sex workers, who said that 70% of their clients are straight married men who come to them just so that they can let go of the performance pressure, lie back and be pleasured. They don't go to women sex workers because there's still pressure and judgment over that.
So it's mostly coming from the stigma about being with another man, but they would never admit it.
They would never admit it. And the thing is, they say we're straight. I am happy to accept that they're straight. I also think that we've made our labels too rigid. Suddenly, like, no, if you like this, then you are definitely not straight. No. Yeah. They could be straight, but find that that's where their pleasure actually comes from. That's what a lot of them are doing. We are just closing off boundaries for everybody. We're not letting people even admit to something. If you can say it out, you can look for ways forward.
How much do you think cinema has had an influence in shaping the narratives about the queer community? Because there are several comments which come from people. I remember this show by Dharma Productions show had come out, Fame Game, in which Madhuri Dixit was the lead, in which her son is gay. And I had a straight friend, I had a friend who said, you know, आजकल तो ये सब दिखाने ही लग गए हैं. As if it's something they're showing just for eyeballs and not, you know, does not really exist in the society. But in the early 2000s, there were, you know, cinema shaped a lot of perspective for the millennials about how the queer community is, what the queer community is. You had certain characters or certain people like Bobby Darling who were always portrayed comical. And then came this magnum opus called Dostana, which was touted as India's answer to Brokeback Mountain. It was anything but that. Films like Kal Ho Na Ho, where you have a Kantaben jingle, these things largely became means of bullying of queer people in any other setting. Cinema, do you think, does have an impact?
See, I've always said the stories that we tell define our identity. So, जो कहानी तुम constantly repeat करो, बताते जाओ, that actually creates your identity. A lot of the films that are being made out of the stories that we tell, because that's what's going to sell them. Yeah. Okay, so mainstream, that is what is going to sell your thing, is if everybody can resonate with it. If they had made Animal with this woman walking out in the end saying, can't handle your shit. Fine, this is who you are, don't want it. It would have changed the way that story landed. Absolutely. Then you say, people are like that, but TK, you don't have to put up with it. We know how it ended. It gave a lot of other people validation to say, it's okay.
You know how Kabir Singh ended as well.
So, I think that how cinema tells a story makes a huge difference. And I think that cinema holds more responsibility. It's just like we hold a lot of responsibility who have a public voice. Massive responsibility in what we say and how we say it. There are days where I would like to be really, really like about somebody. I really would. I have to be so careful in how I say something. Yeah. And I always give the example, again, one of the questions in the book, where it took me 4 weeks to write that answer because I was trying to be balanced from both sides. This woman who said that her husband cheated on her, and when she asked him why, he said, it's because you become very religious. He said, it made me lose my attraction for you and instead begin to respect you. And so I cheated, and after I cheated, I got my libido back, and now everything is fine. So she is totally broken, thinking, am I the one at fault, and did he fix it by cheating? In our society, we have cultural conditioning on the fact that if somebody is religious, you do respect them. You don't look at them sexually. We're not taught to communicate. We're always being told spirituality and sexuality are two different things. You go experimental, it's Western. Right?
In a land of Kama Sutra, you cannot say that.
Well, and yet they do.
Absolutely.
So I just think that we have far too much cultural narrative around us that defines how we think in our subconscious. We need to stop, but it comes back to that whole stereotyping thing. Absolutely. We do need to stop stereotyping, but at what point do you stop stereotyping? Like my husband and one of my sons wants to wear, they love wearing color. They wear a lot of pink, they wear flamboyant stuff, they love it. Friends here would say, what's wrong with your husband? He wears all these colors. Oh my God, he's wearing pink. My kids, typically younger generation, the boys, as much as my daughter, love their skin treatments. They're very conscious of how they look, their skin looks, etc. Husband, typically, don't be so silly, men don't do that. Like, who said? Why do I want to be with somebody who looks like a lizard, their skin flaking off? Like, go do something for yourself. Honestly, just...
You are extremely loved on social media, but there's something very peculiar said at the beginning of the book, which said, not everything can be explained in 60-second reels. How much damage do you think 60-second reel culture is doing to knowledge around sex, intimacy, relationships, or any kind of knowledge for that matter?
When I came to Instagram, in those days, reels were only 30 seconds.
Yep.
I came to Instagram where my daughter started this thing for me in June 2020, in the middle of lockdown. She had just finished her third year. She didn't have a job. She was sitting at home with me. And she was like, we have to do something. And my argument with her would be, no, I am not going to reduce what I have to say to 30 seconds because that creates further stereotypes and more questions, and it's going to be a problem. And she'd be like, no, Mom, this is what is going to work because this is what we actually need on this platform. It's a huge fight. I think that on the one hand, the fact that it's being talked about is great because people have a very short attention span. They don't want to sit and listen to more. So the fact that silence is being broken and they're at least hearing this much is a very good positive. The downside is that the shorter you make something, the more open it leaves to misinterpretation. There is never going to be a time, these are 1,000-word answers, never going to be a time where you can explain everything to everybody's needs because there will be more questions that will come out of whatever you say.
Yep.
But it gives you a little bit more.
That brings me to AI.
Yeah.
I know people who are taking therapy on AI.
Yeah.
And there was a case in the US, if I remember correctly, where there was this teenager who had suicidal thoughts and was taking therapy on one of the AI platforms, where the AI platform went on validating
Which is
this
what
boy's
its
suicidal thoughts.
Response is, yeah.
The boy actually died by suicide. And now the parents have sued this platform in the US courts. People are also seeking relationships on AI. There are people who are pretending that the chatbot is their boyfriend. What are the dangers of this according to you? What are the dangers of people, the dearth of actual belongingness in your real life? Is it so big that you now have to resort to a faceless chatbot to seek emotional dependency, to seek relationships?
I think that we've always said about AI, it sounds really intelligent. Till artificial intelligence is able to understand your story, actually tell a story, it doesn't have the intelligence. When you connect yourself that deeply to something on AI, you forget all the other dangers that you surround yourself with. You forget how to be a partner. You forget how to be a human being with other human beings.
Yeah.
And that impacts your relationship, of course, in every way, but it impacts who you are as a human. Like, because you forget, there's no need to make sure that you're not hurting somebody. There's no need for consent anymore. There's no need for dealing with somebody else's emotions. I can just say, reiterate what I'm sure a lot of other people have said. Do not get your relationship advice from AI. Please do not. Simply because AI, number one, doesn't know what your innermost thoughts are.
Yeah.
It doesn't know how to respond to your innermost thoughts. Like if you say, I'm feeling sad, it has a limited amount of information that it can give you. The other thing is that we practice intimacy, relationships, life very much based on cultural identity.
Yep.
Most of this has been created in the US and it responds to you with very US responses. And so a lot of it doesn't even resonate with you. Like, it's a very dangerous place to go down.
Your cultural identity, your...
Yeah. It doesn't understand. And it understands, let's say, Indianness through the lens of Americanness. If you know what I mean. You know that typical
absolutely.
Sort of, what is the
brown people.
Yeah. What does the potato farmer in Idaho know about India?
Exactly.
That there are snakes and people live on trees. Right? That's the potato farmer in Idaho.
You go to schools on elephants.
Yeah, that's it. So you are actually not, like, you're going to somebody that doesn't even understand how you emotionally feel, let alone being able to give you answers emotionally. And to give you the smallest example, my kids were born in the UK. So they are very much a product of Indian parents, but a UK upbringing. All right. So there's an Indianness, obviously, because I am Indian and I'm here. And this is what they have inherited, and then the surroundings around them. So when they choose a therapist, they will find somebody that they resonate with, more than likely a white person. When I choose a therapist, I choose somebody brown. I choose somebody Indian. Because I feel that they understand me better. We are trying to be that careful about our mental health that we're actually understanding our own cultural background and trying to link to somebody who understands what I'm talking about.
Serious conversation that we are having before we get to the quick rapid fire. We have some quick Gen Z dating terms.
Oh God, never know these Gen Z dating terms. Okay.
That we would like your quick one-line take on.
Okay, and if I don't understand what they are, I will just tell you.
I will tell you what they are.
Okay.
Because even some of them I discovered what they are while I was typing this out. So the first one is dry texting. Do you know what dry texting is?
I have no idea.
Short, boring replies like K, all of those.
So I have a friend who said to me that this is the best way to respond to most things because it keeps the other person's interest going when you keep it short. Sometimes we overthink.
Yep.
Because, like K, if you were talking to me and I was really busy, I'd be like, okay, you'd be fine with it.
Yep.
If I write K because I'm really busy, you're not okay with it. So I personally think that sometimes that is the need of the hour.
Breadcrumbing.
I think that for a lot of us from our generation, it's taken time to realize that breadcrumbing is a bad thing. Because for a long time you were told, well, that's how a man is.
Yeah.
It's okay. Like, don't expect more. I think breadcrumbing is a very manipulative and horrible way to be. And I truly want to say that if you find somebody is doing that to you, recognize it and understand how you want to deal with it.
Yep.
Don't just say, oh, they were breadcrumbing me and I want to walk away. If you still like that person, figure out how you want to deal with it. But it is not a good trait.
Benching.
So basically, like putting you on,
Keeping somebody as an option.
keeping somebody as an option. Can I just say, I think everybody at some point does that. Everybody does that. If you're at the receiving end, it is horrible. But even the person at the receiving end has got other people on the bench. So whether I have something to say about it, I think in an ideal world, we would not do that to other human beings. I think as real human beings, everybody does that. It's a sad reality.
Orbiting.
What is orbiting?
I discovered this today as well. Orbiting is when they don't talk to you, but watch all your Instagram stories.
Yeah, that is plain and simple ego. Okay? Okay, I like you, but I will not let you realize that I like you. However, it is one of the most difficult things to do. Because how do you keep that balance? Like I said, nobody teaches us relationships.
Exactly.
So how do you keep that balance? I think orbiting has become, it's not a new thing, but orbiting has become so much easier because of social media. Yeah, I guess it's a human trait. It's a human trait.
Zombieing.
What's that?
Somebody who ghosts you and then suddenly comes back.
Put those people at a distance. I think it is awful. There can be reasons.
Yep.
There can always be reasons that are quite intense. So it's not always that they're doing it just to make you miserable. There needs to be an explanation of some kind to say that I'm going to ghost you or whatever.
Absolutely.
And when you come back, that means that that is a relationship that is worth rescuing. If you just decide to ghost me because you thought you could and then come back, and a lot of us are, if you're really into that person, you will forgive them for their shit and take them back, and that cycle continues. I think it's a very dangerous thing to let somebody do to you.
Do you know what cuffing and uncuffing is?
Cuffing is like winter time thing, right? When you want to get all,
Wow, you knew that.
I
I
knew
did not know that till I compiled this list.
Yeah,
And
I
I was
knew
like,
it.
they have a term for it.
They have a term now for everything. In one way, it's great that they have the terms because you can actually talk about these things more easily because it's more like everyday language. On the other hand, it's just, sometimes I wonder about labels. To me, I cuff myself to a hot water bottle in the winter. I am not particularly somebody who, but then I am talking as a 63-year-old who's gone past that. I think this is a phenomenon that you will have to ask a younger person about. Sorry, it's as simple as that. You know, when you do get close to somebody, even if it's just for the cold months when you want to snuggle, you build a relationship, you build emotions towards them. I don't know how it works when you then uncuff. I don't know.
How do those feelings vanish in summers? Just because it's too hot. There's something called as dry dating.
Oh, what's dry dating?
Dry dating is dating without alcohol. Why do you need a term for that? I mean, why do you need a term for that?
Wow.
Like, there are some labels that just don't need to be there.
Okay. Sorry, I don't get that one.
Now we are gonna just have quick one-word answers because these questions, for all the conversation we had about AI, we asked ChatGPT what it would ask Seema Anand.
Oh, okay.
Are you ready? What's the most overrated romantic move everyone should retire in 2025?
I don't know. So I'm sorry, I'm really bad at rapid fire. I don't
It's okay.
know. What is the most
Whatever comes to your
overrated?
mind. I think it's heart balloons. You know the heart-shaped balloons that Yash Raj movies popularized? They're still in circulation.
I think he's also tattooing somebody's name on.
That is a good one. Is good flirting a talent, a skill, or pure delusion powered by confidence? Which one of the three?
Good flirting is a real skill that has to be built.
What's the fastest way to kill the mood that everyone always underestimates?
Bad breath.
Oh, yes. What is the one thing that couples take way too seriously in bed?
Their performance. Or how much they expect the other person to be aroused by them on demand.
What's the weirdest thing people think is a green flag that's 100% not a green flag?
This whole thing of the strong silent type.
Ah, I agree. If you could ban one dating phrase forever, which one would it be?
Oh God! At this point, I would ban most of them because I think that they are horrible. I think that the pickup lines are just horrible. I'll tell you one. I find you so sexy. I would like to sleep with you. Okay? No.
Your most controversial take on relationships?
I always think that everybody, women, men, whatever, should date the typical stereotype that they think that they like in order to know that that's not what they like.
Wow.
Every girl should go out with the bad boy to understand how much she doesn't want to be with a bad boy. Go date a bad boy just to know that you don't want to be with what is the act, because bad boys have been romanticized by films, the kind of this thing.
Yep.
Actually, the person who is that, who embody what makes you that so-called bad boy, you realize that's not what you want.
Thank you so much for giving your time. It was an absolute pleasure and a complete 1 hour of me fanboying.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for bringing forth so many important conversations through your books, through your teachings, through your social media presence, which is absolutely phenomenal, just by the way. You are the Seema auntie that the country should be idolizing.
Thank you. Thank you. I will take that.
This was an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.